ravenous appetite. Sharks are known as mindless killers. But maybe not so mindless after all.
You know, people underestimate the intelligence of a shark.
In fact, sharks are cunning and deliberate hunters. They adapt to new environments.
Those sharks are coming very close to shore in order to feed. You can tell it's a learned behavior.
Calculate their approach.
It's quite amazing how they'll actually use the angle of the sun.
And sometimes attack prey on land.
The wave just opened up and this white pointer burst out of the wave. A massive big explosion of water and then gone.
Now a team of shark experts wants to learn just how sharks play their killing games. Kangaroo Island, Australia. It lives up to its name. Thousands of kangaroos live here. But it's the 40,000 seals and sea lions that make it a magnet for great white sharks. Reports suggest that the big sharks have worked out some new ways to hunt seals. White sharks are calculating hunters. But how do they figure out the best approach? Two men have come to investigate.
I think the sharks are really going to pick their spot.
Australian shark scientist Dr. Jonathan Wherry has studied great white movements and behavior for more than a decade.
People underestimate the intelligence of a shark. They are able to read their surroundings and use their environment to come up with the best hunting strategy that they can.
With him, shark researcher turned underwater cameraman Andy Casagrande.
These cameras will roll for a couple hours, so we're bound to see something.
Andy has seen up close what sharks can do.
I've been super lucky to film great white sharks pretty much at all the major hotspots. All types of really cool, hunting tactics that they use. Cool thing is, Jonathan has been working in Australia with white sharks for a long time. He knows the areas. He's been here. There's been reports of big white sharks not only, taking seals, but being chased by seals. A surfer was attacked here, so it's definitely a hot spot, but it's undiscovered.
White sharks have proven themselves as apex predators. They ambush from below and use a combination of speed and power to take their prey, and they do it easily. Jonathan thinks the sharks never stop developing new hunting techniques. So Andy and Jonathan hit the water aboard the Strictly Business. If shark hunting strategies really have advanced, they want to study these kill tactics up close.
The better understanding we have of how they adapt and what habitat characteristics might drive particular behaviour gives us a much better handle on even predicting human interaction with sharks.
They will play a game of cat and mouse with the sharks to see how they approach their prey. Jonathan will lure them in with bait and observe from above the individual shark's technique of attack. Andy will film it all from below for a complete picture. Light and sound move very differently in the ocean. Sharks have a sixth sense, which helps them navigate this complex environment.
One of the key things that sharks have is these ampullae of Lorenzini, which are these gel-filled pits on their snout. You can see it if you look really close at a shark, and that provides a really additional sense. So he can pick up on minute movements and electrochemical sensors from bait, potential prey.
A white shark senses the bait and sizes up its prey.
You can see how the animal is just calmly moving around, but he's actually assessing the situation and looking for the best and most effective approach angle. You notice that he came straight up underneath then and almost caught me off guard before I could just pull that bait in.
The shark fails, but undeterred, it changes its approach.
See how he's changed his behaviour now. He's figured out if he comes up deeper from under the boat and underneath, I'm less likely to see him and my reaction time's slower. See that animal's coming in? Oh no, he's arcing out. Taking a big arc, and he's going to come in where the sun is to my side here, which gives me a bit more glare. It's a lot harder to see him.
As the shark continues to strike the bait, it reveals something remarkable.
It's quite amazing how they will actually use the angle of the sun to virtually hide from us.
In the morning, the predators consistently strike from the east. And as the sun sets in the west, they change the angle of their attack. In the absence of a sun glare, the sharks strike at random and are less successful.
Yeah, man. Some of them look pretty amped up coming in, but you can see they were using different approaches. Ones that came at it right at the surface, other ones would come up from underneath. But you could definitely tell that they were kind of on edge when there was multiple sharks in the area. They sort of backed off a little.
Oh, right.
More cautious, yeah.
You know, that was fantastic in terms of displaying how they suss out a situation,
Yeah.
and then work out the most effective strategy. So it was excellent. Yeah.
Exactly.
The next day, Andy gets a call from friend and fellow cameraman Jeremy Ashton. Jeremy has worked with wildlife in Australia for 20 years. He's been filming the seal colonies around Kangaroo Island and captured some remarkable footage of shark behavior.
So, I'm at the top of Weir's Cove, looking off the outlook. The seals are down to the left, and then in the blue water, there's a bait ball forming. And I thought something's got to show up. Eventually, this thing shows up.
No way.
It's a long way away, but see it?
Well, it's definitely a shark. That looks like a white shark, man. Oh, it's moving along. It's just turned direction there. It's got that huge torpedo-shaped body. It's got a deep caudal keel there. That's a great white shark cruising in the surf, right by the seal colony.
But then, it did something very cunning. You might say, smart.
So, did it show any interest in going towards the seals or anything like that?
No, not at that stage. It cruised up and down the beach, and it moved right through one edge of the bait ball.
Really?
It just cruises through.
It's clear the white shark is not hunting the bait ball. Instead, it's using it as camouflage, as a screen, hoping the massive fish will attract a seal.
Seals should be hunting this bait ball, but they knew that white shark was there. They're hyper vigilant. That shark was just playing its cards and trying to see if anything showed up.
Yeah.
A white shark circling a bait ball? I've never seen that. Now, what happens next? Tell me something happens.
Well, it kept cruising up and down, and it took off into the dark water, and we never saw it again.
That's it.
Yeah.
But it's still cool, man.
But a couple of days later, we had this German lady show up and show us this.
What?
Scientists Dr. Jonathan Wary and shark cameraman Andy Casagrande are investigating hunting strategies in sharks. While in Australia, Andy got word from wildlife cameraman Jeremy Ashton that he has footage of a great white hunting in the shallows and using a bait ball for cover.
That shark was just playing its cards and trying to see if anything showed up?
Yeah.
The white shark's strategy of stalking prey close to shore eventually worked.
A couple of days later, we had this German lady show up and show us this.
What?
In almost the same location, a tourist shot footage of a shark attack on a seal.
This is in the same place?
Right, this was right underneath where we were in the dark water, straight below where we were standing.
That's a kill. That's a great white shark kill on a seal. So you got a great white shark circling a bait ball. Now you have proof that they're hunting seals here. There's a predation event that's 30 feet or less off of the rocks. It's incredible.
Jeremy's footage shows that white sharks will use a variety of strategies to kill seals close to shore.
This is so cool.
And there are reports coming in from around the world of sharks doing some strange things. On Cape Cod, Massachusetts, Harbor Patrol rescues a shark that's beached itself on a sandbar.
Go get some salt. Go get water, guys.
Eyewitnesses say it came ashore chasing a seagull. in South Africa. In separate incidents, great white sharks launch themselves into boats. Are these simply accidents? Or are sharks beginning to hunt prey out of water? And great whites aren't the only sharks with hunting tricks. Andy follows a lead 10,000 miles away in the Bahamas.
Now, I've reached out to a lot of scientist friends of mine in the shark community and asked them if they've noticed different hunting tactics. Sharks have been around for millions and millions of years, but it seems like they never stop learning. So some of my mates in the Bahamas have reported some amazing shark behavior that I'm going to go out, use some cool new technology to film.
Andy meets up with Swiss shark biologist Ornella Vadeli.
Nice to see you.
Hey, nice to see you.
Ornella has studied the local shark population for the last 7 years. She's seen evidence that some sharks will employ incredible tactics to chase a meal.
You reckon this is a good spot to find sharks hunting in the shallow?
Not here. We have to take the boat now and we go like 20 minutes up north and then there you might kind of see some sharks.
Perfect. You good?
There you go.
They head out to the small island of Compass Cay to check out an unusual behavior in the local nurse shark population.
We actually are pretty lucky tonight because the high tide is around 7.
Okay.
So the water will even come up over the dock. So the sharks will even come on the dock.
Onto the dock.
Yeah, they're on the dock, they're laying on the dock.
The fact that a shark will come up onto dry land is sort of a risky behavior because they can't survive on land.
No, they're not made for that.
Hopefully the sharks are there and we'll be able to jump in and film and just check them out.
Cool, yeah, I'm excited to show it to you.
So is this the dock right here?
It's the marina, yeah. So you see it's now above the water level.
Yeah.
So in about 1 or 2 hours, this will be filled with like 1 foot of water.
Okay.
And you already see the
Yeah.
shadows there.
Very cool. Well, the tide's still coming in. When they do come up onto the dock, we'll be here at exactly the right time. Good work.
Okay, awesome.
Nurse sharks are bottom feeders with powerful jaws that they use to crush and eat shellfish or even coral. They're common in the coastal tropical waters of the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific. They often return to the same resting place during the day.
All right, let's do this. This is gonna be fun. You ready? I guess so.
A nurse shark will strike so quickly it's hard to see. Their bite only takes 90 thousandths of a second. They can grow as long as 14 feet, but will only attack humans if provoked.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Now, as the tide covers the dock with just an inch or two of water, the sharks make their move.
Pretty amazing.
The nurse sharks propel themselves onto the dock, going after scraps of fish. It's a learned behavior and evidence that sharks will come on land to feed. Is it possible that's what these larger sharks were doing too? Unlike most sharks, nurse sharks are uniquely adapted to survive in a small amount of water. They use an extremely strong suction to feed, which allows them to keep breathing while on the dock.
You see those guys, they can breathe water, they can breathe oxygen, even if they don't move. As you see now, their gills are moving,
Right.
so they're sucking in water, and it goes out through their gills, so they're able to breathe in no air without swimming.
But great whites, for example, are not able to do this. They need to stay in constant motion to keep the oxygen-rich water flowing over their gills, which makes attacking prey out of the water extremely risky. If they get trapped on the beach or in a boat, they'll die. Nurse sharks use suction to oxygenate, making this behavior much less risky for them.
You could hear the sucking sound, and that's also how they got the food into their mouth. It's really loud, yeah, it's pretty intense. It's very, very powerful. They can even use the sucking behavior to suck conch out of their shells, and that must be very strong.
This is obviously a learned behavior. These sharks have been habituated to come here and feed at this, feeding station.
Yeah.
Fishermen clean their catch. It makes sense that they come to scavenge. But to actually come up onto the dock is pretty impressive. It's a cool behavior, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. So, any other ideas?
Yeah, I do have another idea. I have another K that I want to show to you tomorrow. So there will be some other sharks. They show some other amazing behavior. So
I'm up for it.
Yeah.
The next day, Ornella and Andy meet up with Bahamas local and shark adventure captain Nigel Bauer. Nigel takes them 40 miles north in the Bahamas to Ship Channel K. On this beach, Caribbean reef sharks have no fear of hunting in the extreme shallows.
Reef sharks, most people kind of write them off as this sort of just generic-looking shark that hangs in the Bahamas, but they're impressive hunters. They're really versatile.
Nigel has observed sharks here for more than 20 years. He claims they'll chase a meal all the way onto the beach.
Your nurse shark is basically very relaxed. It's got a little bit of sort of a reggae swing to it where it swims through the water. The reef sharks are much more feistier, direct. They've got a sort of mission to go get something. All right.
Reef sharks are a lot more dangerous than nurse sharks. They can grow up to 10 feet long and hunt everything from lobsters and crabs to squid and fish. Their strategy is simple but effective. They trap their prey up against the reef. They are unpredictable and will turn on humans. Researchers have documented as many as 22 attacks. 11 were fatal.
There's a lot of sharks here.
It was amazing. For a first dive, wow.
The visibility gets kind of turned up and you see all those little reef sharks darting in. There's lots of little fish.
It was cool.
No, it's looking good. It's like the perfect shark hunting habitat here. It's super shallow. They're coming in, chasing the fish. Honestly, once the fish get so close to the shore, there's no place for them to hide.
Yeah. So now we saw them in like, 1 meter of water.
Okay.
And Nigel told me you can get them even closer. So this might get a little bit closer to what you're expecting to see in the Bahamas.
Well, if they get any closer than what we got here, they're going to be pretty much on land, and that's what I'm looking for.
Back on the beach, Andy and Ornella want to see just how far the reef sharks will go to chase prey.
Just watching these reef sharks, they're like little pack hunters. They always seem to show up in 2s and 3s, and they come in, and they're all roughly the same size, 4 to 5 feet. But they're feisty. They're coming in really close to the beach and almost essentially beaching themselves.
Reef sharks are coming very close to shore in order to feed. You can tell it's a learned behavior. So those sharks have learned how to come closer to shore in order to get food.
Then, a much larger shark appears. Sharks are extremely efficient killers, attacking their prey with speed and power. But Dr. Jonathan Wary believes we have much more to learn about their abilities and their intelligence.
Sharks know exactly what they're doing in terms of being able to minimise the amount of energy they have to expend to actually capture prey and then get that energy returned.
Here in the Bahamas, scientist Ornella Vadeli and shark cameraman Andy Casagrande are filming Caribbean reef sharks that go all the way up on the beach to get food. But now, the reef sharks have competition. Much larger lemon sharks arrive.
It's killing it. Look at it. They're literally like a foot deep of water coming up onto the sand, rubbing their bellies just to get back in.
And remarkably, the sharks are unfazed by the nearby humans.
Sharks get scared very quickly if you splash on the water surface. The T-sharks, especially the big lemon, whenever I saw the bait coming down on the surface, the splash happened, the shark turned around quickly to get the food. He knows what was going on.
Lemon sharks get their name because of their distinct color. And these big lemons show no fear, going after fish well onto the beach.
I don't think it's more risky for the lemons to come that close to shore. I saw how strong their tail is. They can wiggle themselves out, so a lot of sand is coming into their mouth, into their gills, but they get out of it very quickly. These animals are really intelligent. They can learn a new behavior in order to get food.
I believe it. They do it. Sharks are willing to come up onto essentially dry land in pursuit of prey.
They're just in a traffic jam trying to get their fish.
That was pretty impressive, huh?
I mean, so far we've seen 3 species, nurse sharks, Caribbean reef, and lemon sharks, all willing to come up out of the water. In a risky situation, if it gets stranded there, it's going to die.
Absolutely.
The lemon sharks here in the Bahamas prove that sharks are willing to take the risk and chase prey out of the water. This is a hunting tactic that's been documented on other aquatic animals too. In France, researchers filmed catfish in the Tarn River who hunt pigeons on the riverbank. Bottlenose dolphins in South Carolina hunt in groups and force the fish up on the beach to have their lunch on land. And on the coast of Argentina, orcas launch their nearly 6-ton frames onto the beach to take down seals. Like the dolphins, they intentionally beach themselves, relying on the next receding wave to carry them back into the water. Scientists believe that this is a learned behavior that has been passed down. But now, are sharks as big as great whites going after prey on land? In South Australia, an eyewitness might have the answer. Back on Kangaroo Island, Dr. Jonathan Wary meets up with local abalone diver Dave Neighbor.
So this is the location? We're getting
Yeah,
close?
this is it. This area here, Great Southern Ocean, pretty much my office.
Wow.
For the last nearly 30 years.
Dave, you know, really appreciate you taking me out here and sort of some insight into, you know, we're really interested in these new potential behaviours in these animals.
Yeah.
I've heard via the grapevine that you witnessed this, you know, amazing white shark behaviour, a predation event.
Before I got into the abalone industry, I did some work for a tour company, and I had a young honeymoon couple. We just came down around the corner here, and right in front of us, a lot of action in the water, a lot of young seal pups jumping and leaping, and they're all bumping and hitting each other. And next thing, this next set of waves had come in, and then the wave just opened up, and this white pointer burst out of the wave. I actually got the seal, grabbed hold of the seal, and it sort of twisted itself a little. Thought it was going to beach itself on the rocks, but it drops away pretty quick, and
Yeah,
the
okay.
white pointer must have known it's got plenty of water there.
Yep.
And it a massive big explosion of water, and then gone. And this couple said, "Oh, do you see this thing every day? This sort of thing every day?" And I went, "That's probably once in a lifetime we just see what we're seeing."
That's amazing.
And it looked like it just used the wave to launch forward, but it happened in an instant. Bang! Explosion, grabbed seal, did a little turn, and then crashed off to the side.
That just goes to show, you know, they're really good at what they do and really good at reading the terrain.
Yeah.
And working out a strategy that's really going to maximise their chances of getting a prey and surprising it.
Yep. Incredible sight. Never forget it. Yeah. Perfect hunters.
Fantastic.
An eyewitness has now confirmed a white shark taking a seal off the rocks. But can they capture this behavior on camera? Andy and Jonathan need to come up with a plan to document this white shark hunting strategy.
So what do they call those islands out there?
Yeah, that's the two brothers. So
They head up to one of the island's signature landmarks, Remarkable Rocks, to get a good view of the surrounding waters and the area where the seal was attacked.
If you were a white shark and you were looking to, get a meal, just judging by this location, where exactly would you be?
yeah, so we're right at the southwest tip of the island. So it's a junction point. It's where you've got, water that's coming around each side of the island meeting.
The water clearly looks quite clear. You can see where it's shallow, then it definitely drops off to the deep zone.
Yeah, this kind of forms a bit of like a bay. There's a bit of shelter from predominant winds. But then out at that point, Admiral's Arch and one of the brothers,
Yeah.
there's a nice deep channel.
So you reckon that's the best spot? If you were a white shark, you'd be hanging out there?
Well, I suspect the bathymetry there really gives them a good advantage to come up with some ambush type strategies, and there's a decent seal colony out there. I know for a fact that it's entirely possible within the shark world. But for a white shark to actually prove or demonstrate that this is behaviour that they're exhibiting here would be fantastic.
Andy calls in help from fellow cameraman Jeremy Ashton.
So the game plan is Jeremy is going to stake out the location, put in the long yards, and hopefully capture a white shark coming up onto the rocks and grabbing a seal.
Along the shoreline of Kangaroo Island, Andy and Jeremy settle on a location to start the stakeout.
Not exactly off the beaten path, but it looks like a good vantage point at least.
They set up with a good view of a large seal colony and the rocks where the eyewitness saw the attack. Andy leaves Jeremy with a few pointers on capturing shark behavior.
Don't blink. Never stop looking. Yeah. If you see any seals that you really think are falling behind, they seem vulnerable, just trust your gut. Obviously, it can happen anywhere at any time. Just think like a shark.
Scientist Dr. Jonathan Wary and shark cameraman Andy Casagrande are in South Australia on Kangaroo Island. They're looking into reports of white sharks coming out of the water and snatching seals off the rocks.
And it looked like it just used the wave to launch forward, but it happened in an instant, bang.
Are white sharks really hunting seals on land? The guys are determined to find out. While cameraman Jeremy Ashton covers the action with the seals, Andy and Jonathan hit the water, out with the sharks. White sharks coming out of the water to attack prey is not that far-fetched.
They do have adaptive membranes in their eyes, so they can actually see above water and spy hop, so to speak, and visually see their prey before they then go underwater and target them.
The shark's biggest edge is the element of surprise.
Seal out on land has an advantage. It can view the waterline, see if the shark's around. So for a shark to actually have a go at a seal on land, the seal probably is not expecting that.
They might also use the surf for cover.
I have seen many other species of sharks actually ride that swell in, and that gives them a bit of extra propulsion. Plus, if they were able to get a seal, as that wave resides, they're able to then move back down with that water motion. So it's actually a potentially very effective hunting strategy.
To try to capture this hunting strategy on camera, Jonathan has brought along a highly sophisticated fin camera and tag. The device will allow them to record 30 hours of footage and see everything the shark sees. The plan is to have a shark record its own predatory behavior, a kind of shark selfie. There's just the small detail of getting the tag onto the shark.
All right, here we go. Let's do it. Game on. We're good to go.
Their high-tech camera sinks to the bottom.
We gotta get down and get that. So the idea is it doesn't float until the clamp comes off.
Yeah, that's right.
The tag is designed to stay on the shark until the fin clip dissolves in the salt water and the camera floats to the surface.
Worst case scenario, it should pop off in 5 days.
Yeah.
We're here for exactly 5 more days.
No, we need it now, though.
We need it. Okay.
If the guys want to use the shark cam, they need to dive down and get it. They might just get some shark hunting strategy on camera the hard way.
So we had a bit of a mishap. We got the camera on, but it came off shortly after and it sunk. So we're gonna have to head down in the muncher and dive it out. Gives us a good excuse to get to your aquarium. Thank you. You're gonna love it. The sharks do too. Let's go.
To protect themselves from attack while retrieving the tag, Andy and Jonathan deployed the Mobile Underwater Shark Habitat Explorer and Recorder, better known as the Muncher.
Take these.
The Muncher is no ordinary shark cage. This mobile shark explorer is made of 3-inch thick reinforced aluminum. It's self-propelled and has room for 2.
Wow, there are a lot of white sharks. Sharks are very curious. I think the fin cap fell off somewhere over there. Let's head for that kelp bed.
Topside, Captain Jack Thompson is worried.
They're down nearly 25 meters of water. The pressure down there, they got 5-minute bottom time.
I don't see the fin cam anywhere. Let's head back up. We're stuck. This thruster's not strong enough to get it down. Turn the air on. Let's fill the ballast tanks and float up.
Their only option is to force an uncontrolled ascent. On their way up, they have company.
Check it out. He's pulling us right up to the surface.
Andy and Jonathan emerge from the Muncher, shaken, but in one piece.
That didn't go okay at all. I think we're gonna have to nickname this the Widowmaker. We couldn't come up at all because we were stuck. The big shark was circling around, but didn't see the camera anywhere.
The tag appears to be lost. But on their ascent, a big great white showed some assertive behavior, stalking them all the way to the boat. They change tactics. They want to see how this shark will react to prey. Andy heads back down in the shark cage to film, while on the dive platform, Jonathan lures in the shark. It doesn't take long for the white shark to strike the bait. And then, out of nowhere, the shark does the unexpected. Jonathan Wary and Andy Casagrande are studying the hunting techniques of great white sharks and reports of sharks launching themselves into boats and onto the rocks, chasing a meal. When suddenly, a shark thrashes toward the boat.
All right, so I didn't even see that. I'll turn away for 1 second.
It was very nearly the behavior they've been hoping to catch on camera. The shark stopped just short of propelling itself onto the dive platform. It's been happening all over the world. And now, Jonathan and Andy nearly witnessed it firsthand.
Well, yeah, one grabbed the bait, looked like it jumped up onto the marlin board. So I'm in the cage and I'm getting this cool shot of the shark chasing the bait. And literally it chases it pretty much out of frame up onto the swim step. Not fully out of the water, but it was very similar to the behavior in the Bahamas. Whoa! That shows me that if they are hungry enough or determined enough, that they have the capability to come up right to the back of the boat, essentially on dry land.
Sharks are clearly not blind as killers. They're quite smart in terms of figuring out the most effective way to approach prey, given the habitat that they're in and the circumstances, to maximise their opportunity of actually attaining that prey.
Back on Kangaroo Island, Jeremy's been trying to capture a white shark hunting on the rocks. He's spent weeks filming the seal colonies all around Kangaroo Island. But after more than a month out in the elements, he has nothing to show for it. Jeremy decides to call it quits.
So I just heard from Jeremy Poor guy. He's just put in over a month there, and he says he's gonna pack it in. I knew from the very start of this that it was gonna be a gamble. Capturing a white shark coming up onto land to grab a seal is a 1 in a billion chance of getting it. But I'm a gambler. I like taking risks, and wildlife filmmaking is all about trying to discover new behaviors and document them to show the world that they actually exist. They're definitely capable of doing it. I'm not giving up. Someday I will film white sharks coming up onto land and prove that it's possible for white sharks to elicit that behavior.
There's only one conclusion. Great whites are extremely intelligent, and their complex killing games confirm that they're cunning, patient, and calculating hunters. Lemon sharks, orcas,